was doing all of these things, not realizing that I was building a brand for myself. You have to perfect your craft, because if you're going to be doing something, you have to love it. You want to make sure that your business foundation is solid. Don't lowball yourself. You have to have a website. Be mindful of what you say and how you say it. A lot of people know how to braid hair, but knowing how to braid hair and run a successful business are two completely different things. So if you're watching this video and you are ready to make money doing something that you love while also making a great impact, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, grab your pen and your paper, and let's go. I've been braiding hair for over 20 years now, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you all of the steps that I would take if I had to start my business all over again, as well as some mistakes that I made that I hope that you can avoid. I started braiding hair when I was 13 years old, and I would never forget it. The summer of 9th grade year. I just remember the passion that I had to learn how to do it. I've always been, doing my hair when I was a little girl, but I did not perfect my craft or start perfecting my craft until I turned 13 years old, because I knew I did not want to go to school looking crazy, and I knew that my mom did not have all of this money to keep my hair done and braided in all of these styles, because it could cost a lot of money keeping yourself up. And so that's just something that I wanted to learn for myself. I learned how to braid hair on a teddy bear. I had a friend who was doing Senegalese twists at the time, and I wanted to learn how to do it, but I didn't know how to connect the hair to a natural head. And so that is something that she taught me how to do. And I will never forget learning how to do that. And then I would practice on her. And someone asked me, did I know how to do hair? Because I would do my own hair. I was pretty much my own canvas. And so I would go out and about. And I remember the first person that asked me, can I do their hair? And they would pay me for it. And when I heard that, y'all, I just knew this could possibly be something that I could build for myself. Not even thinking that too much far out. I was always the person from the day I learned how to braid hair, I always was the person that every family member came to do their hair. So once I learned how to add weave extensions to your hair, I was doing everybody's hair in my family, all of my aunties, my cousins, friends in the neighborhood. And slowly but surely, people started asking me, hey, who did your hair? And I would say me, and people are just like, wait a minute, what do you mean you did your own hair? Do you do other people's hair? And I remember at the time not feeling confident to do other people's hair, but it's like, how are you gonna learn if you don't do anyone else's hair? I vividly remember charging somebody $50 to do a head of box braids. Crazy. But we all have to learn and start somewhere. I remember getting my first $50 from somebody, and I remember the feeling of, dang, I can go and buy this for myself, or I can go and do that for myself with this money. And granted, $50 wasn't a lot of money, but it showed me what's possible. From the day I learned how to do hair, I've been doing it ever since. I've had multiple jobs throughout high school, throughout college, and it wasn't until my junior year in college where I realized this is legit a business that I can, grow for myself. I had aunties who do hair. I still have aunties that do hair for a living. That's just what they do. But I never had anybody to sit me down and really give me the game when it comes to doing hair. So I had to learn a lot. I pretty much had to learn everything on my own. It wasn't until my junior year in college, I was like, you are building a business and you don't even realize it. Taking appointments, people are finally getting to know who I am, what I do, because one, when you are a hairstylist, you should keep your hair done, whether it's a low bun, nice and slick, whether it's braids or, a service that you want to provide. Your hair should always be done, because you are your brand. And that is something that I also want you guys to know. You are your brand. And so I was walking around with my hair done, And, telling people that, yes, I do my hair. If you would like to get your hair done, I can do your hair too. Slowly but surely, I started like making my own prices, and I went to the store and I got me a calendar book where I wrote down all of my appointments. And I did a lot of the students' hair that I went to college with. Funny story, I went to school for elementary education. Has nothing to do with hair. Absolutely nothing to do with hair. But hair was always my passion, is something that I love to do. But I never really thought about going to hair school, because I wanted to be a teacher. That was my dream. That was my goal. But everywhere that I went, even when I was working in the schools, people were always asking me, who do your hair? How much are your braids? Do you do braids for other people? And I'm just like, so everywhere that I went, everybody wanted their hair done. And I was like, this is your calling. This is your passion. Do something with it. And so it wasn't until my junior year of college where I was like, I'm going to, continue to do what I do, go to work, go to school. Once I finish all of that, I come home, I style my clients' hair. And that's exactly what I did. I wrote down appointments in my appointment book. I planned out like my entire months the month before to make sure that my calendar, everything was set the way that it was supposed to be. My school schedule, my work schedule, and then my work schedule after my work schedule. And so I was doing all of these things, not realizing that I was building a brand for myself. And that was the beginning of me having a successful braiding business. You are watching this video not because you want to learn how to braid. If you're watching this video, you already know how to braid. At least I hope you do. And if you don't, that's another video for another day. But you're watching this, you already know how to braid. So now it's time to learn how to perfect your craft. Things that I did to help me perfect my craft was do my family members' hair, always doing my hair, always practicing. Get you a mannequin head. When you have an off day, when you have some downtime, learn what you don't know. Watch videos, watch tutorials, offer your friends to do their hair in exchange for something else. You have to put yourself in places where you can put your skills to the test, because you don't want to be doing somebody's hair and you just don't know what you're doing. You have to perfect your craft. When it comes to having a successful braiding business, not only do you want to perfect your craft, people are not paying you just because you know how to braid. There are so many people that just know how to braid, but people are paying you top dollars because you braid really, really well and you give them a really good experience. So things you should be working on are practicing different braiding styles. You want to make sure that you're practicing and perfecting your parting skills. Parts make a huge difference when it comes to braids, and you want to make sure that it's neat and you're using the right products, you're using the right tools. You want to make sure that you are practicing and perfecting your time. You don't want to be doing somebody's hair for 12, 13 hours on a style that should take you 5 hours to do. You always want to talk to yourself and think, how can I make this appointment, this hairstyle comforting, soothing, relaxing? How can I create an atmosphere to help my clients feel comfortable and at ease where they can come back? And you want to practice on being consistent. You don't want to do somebody's hair and it looks so good and then somebody else come and it's just trash. You want to make sure that you are practicing enough where you're confident in yourself and you're confident in your skills, and so those clients always come back. When I first started out doing braids, I remember doing my friend's hair in school, and we would literally take all day to do our braids. One, because all we had was time. We didn't have nothing else to do. As I started growing in my business, I realized we can't be talking a lot while we doing hair, because it does slow you down. I can't be on my phone because it's a distraction and it's very, very unprofessional. You do have to think about, what rules do I put in place for myself to make sure that I'm doing this style in a timely manner. Also, practicing, like I said, practicing on that skill to get your timing down. Because I remember when I was doing braids way back when, and it used to take me 12, 13 hours just to do a head of box braids. Crazy work. But As you practice, you get better, you get faster. Now, my box braids take me, it depends on what size you're getting, but it takes me about 4 to 5 hours to complete a head of box braids. And that's because I have to focus myself. My phone is on do not disturb, or they just have to wait until I'm able to talk. So you have to make sure that you are practicing, perfecting your skills, because that is the only way that you are going to get good at what you do. Next, you want to decide on what type of services do you want to offer? What type of styles do you want to offer to your clients? I remember when I first started, y'all, I was doing every style you can think of. I wanted to do the ponytails. I wanted to do the twists. I wanted to do the braids. I wanted to do the pinups. I wanted to do the French braids. I wanted to do everything because I'm just so excited about this craft. Every time somebody comes to me, I want to make sure that I'm able to do that style. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is when you really have to sit and think about, what am I really good at? What are the styles that bring me joy when I do it? Seriously, because if you're going to be doing something, you have to love it. I used to be the stylist who had every single hairstyle on my website available. And like I said, one day I'll have a ponytail. The next day I'll have French twist. And then the next day I'll have something else. Becoming known for a few different hairstyles that you're really good at helps you to build a reputation with your clientele. If these people know that I can go to her because I know for a fact that she can do this really, really well. You don't want to be the person that just do everything. Like you want to make sure that you are not too broad, but you don't want to overwork yourself. And so it definitely helps you when you have a few different styles that you are good at and that you offer to your clients, because those people will always come back. If you are the stylist that's literally doing everything, 9 times out of 10, you won't really have those repeat customers. Have you a core 5 that you can stick with and that you are really good at and that you can work at perfecting every time you style a client, and those people will most of the time always come back. To have a successful braiding business, you want to make sure that your business foundation is solid. Your business should have a business name. Go on SomeBiz, choose a business name for yourself. I always tell people, take some time, get your pen and paper, write down at least 10 different names that you can think of that you genuinely like and some that you genuinely love, and then go through them and do elimination. Do I like this one? Not that great. Do I like this one? I really like this one. Let's see. And when you do that, it is so important that you go on somebiz.com to make sure that that name is available. Because just because you love a name does not mean that that name belongs to you. You have to register your business name on somebiz.com. Once you do that, you want to open up an LLC for your business. I am in no way a tax person. You will have to find someone who can help you do that if you do not understand that. Google is absolutely free, so you can also Google it as well. Once you do all of those things, I always tell people it is time for you to open up a business account. When it comes to running a successful business, every time your clients pay you, it should never go inside of your personal bank account. Ever. All of your finances should always be separate. So you should have your whatever accounts that you normally use, and then you have your business account. You never want to mix the two. Also, you want to understand the local laws when it comes to braiding hair in your city or state. In Florida, you do not have to have a license to braid hair. I'm not sure about everywhere else, but that is a quick Google search. If you would love for me to help you, write it down in the comments and I will go ahead and do the research for you and let you know. Next, you want to think about, where do I want to serve my clients? There's so many places and ways that you can grow your business and do business out of. You can work from home. You can work in a salon. You can work in a salon suite. You can rent out a studio for yourself and make it your own. You can create a space in your home to do hair. I started out doing hair in my home at my mom's house. That's how I started out. And from there, I've always done hair from home. In 2018, I opened up my first salon suite. And that was just so big for me. I was super excited, super happy. And I will make another video about that because I know that a lot of people would love to know how I went about doing that. Now it is time for you to set the price of your hairstyles that you're gonna offer. When I first started out, like I said, this was a long time ago though, but I was doing box braids for $50. That's what people were doing back in the day. Now, absolutely not. My box braids are $200 and up, depending on what size you want. When you are setting your prices for your services, you want to make sure that you are styling based on skill, based on the time that it takes for that style, and based on the overhead, your materials that you need, where you're going to be servicing from, your overhead, all of the things, rent, water, light, all of that. Now, I know a lot of people, when they're first starting out, they always undercharge. And that's because a lot of people are afraid. What if I charge this much and I don't get clientele? But I always say, why would you lowball yourself? Obviously, don't be crazy when you're first starting out. But don't lowball yourself, because if you know that you are really good, you know that you offer bomb services, bomb customer service, that you can do that, charge what you are worth, and your people will always find you. Next, you want to work on building your portfolio. If you don't have an Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, whatever platform that you choose to use, if you don't have that for your business, go ahead and set that up for yourself now. It is completely free, so easy to do. That way, when you are servicing your clients, you can take before and after photos, you can take videos. Yes, you have to become a content creator when you are starting a business. Yes, I hate to break it to you, but content sells. People want to know, who is this person behind the brand? People want to know, what services do she offer? What does her work look like? I want to see it all. If you don't have anything to show, how are people going to know about your business? How are people going to know about the services that you offer? You have to take videos. You have to take photos. You can show them some behind the scenes. That way people get to know who you are and what you do and the services that you offer. Now, to gain clientele, how are you going to make sure that they can book you, that they can find you? You need a website. You need a website. So this is a big investment in your business. If you desire to be a successful braiding business owner, you have to have a website where people can find you. If you are saying, you know, DM me, I can give you an appointment date, and then you write it down. That's how I started. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there does come a time where eventually you have to get a website. You have to get a system in place so that you're not just out somewhere and a random person DM you or is blowing up your phone trying to figure out if you have an appointment right now. If you have a website, they can go on your website and they can see all of the days and times that you have available, and they can go ahead and book through there. I'm talking from experience. There were many times, a lot of times, where I did not have my appointment book where I wrote down my clients' appointments. And I would be at the grocery store and a client would call me and say, hey, I'm at your house, or hey, I'm on the way. And I'm just like, oh my God. At least when it comes to having a system in place, you get a reminder, your clients get a reminder. It's always there for you to check on your phone if you have the app. As soon as a client book an appointment, I get a notification, they get a notification. And I set it up where they're able to get a reminder the day before their appointment. So nobody is confused and everybody is on one accord. Of course, in the beginning, yes, you can have a notepad like I did and write everything down. But eventually you want to grow. You want to make sure that you have your systems in place. In order to have a successful business, you want to make sure that your clients always come back. And that is why it is so important that you make sure that they have a great experience when they come to you. And how can we do that? Making sure that we are on time to our job. You never want to get there when your client is already there, the time they're supposed to be there. Obviously, things happen, but you should always be first to communicate. You want to make sure that you have a clean workspace. You never want someone to come in the space that you call your work and your job, and it's just a complete mess. No one wants to sit in it. It's very uncomfortable. And when someone is paying their money, their good, hard-earned money, they want to be in a space that's clean, that's welcoming and refreshing. So make sure that you keep your space clean. This is a big one because a lot of hairstylists are lacking this today. Friendly communication. There are so many hairstylists who get so offended by every little thing, and a lot of them, you just can't tell them nothing. And that is not a great way. That being a great boss, being a great business owner, you have to be willing to take constructive criticism. You have to be able to just be a good listener, because most of the time, like, clients don't mean no harm. Either they just wasn't satisfied with the service, and so you have to be willing to have friendly communication. One, you have to make sure that you have rules in place. It's always not what you say, but how you say it. So always make sure that you are being mindful of what you say. When it comes to rules, you want to make sure that you have a clear policy. I have my policy on my website. Every single time someone goes to book an appointment, that shows up first, because I want to make sure that you understand exactly what is required of you before you come to our appointment. Now, when it comes to policy, a lot of people get real crazy on these websites. You have like 3 pages full of do not do this, do not do that. I think that is very unprofessional. It's important to set rules and boundaries, but be mindful of what you say and how you say it. You don't have to be like, you can't take your shoes off while you're here, or you can't take a phone call. It's crazy. Prayerfully, your clients are mindful as well. And if they're not, there's always a way to say it. But a lot of mine is, please do not bring other people to your appointment with you, obviously. But, sometimes that is not obvious. But that is one of my policies that I have for myself. Another one is, if you are late, communicate that with me. If we're 30 minutes late and I don't hear from you, I'm assuming that you're not coming. And I don't want to assume that you're not coming. So let's just communicate. And also, I do my part at reaching out if you're not there on time. Lastly, you want to make sure that your clients feel comfortable. So having a clean environment, making the atmosphere as comfortable as you can for your client. It's just very important to do, because you want that person to come back. If you made it to the end of this video, I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for stepping out and doing something that you genuinely love. I know that it's not always easy to do, but I'm so proud of you for doing it, because it is so worth it. I want to know down below, where are you on your braiding journey, on your business journey? Where are you from? Are you just learning how to braid? Are you just stepping out on launching your braiding business? Or have you already started your braiding business and you're just looking for advice along the way? Leave a comment down below. I would love to hear your story. If you found this video to be helpful, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. And remember, I'm giving you the game because nobody gave it to me. Love y'all, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.